My job is
私の仕事は何々ですっていう意味になるけど使えないんですか？
Yes, we phrase it a little differently, I think.
皆さんこんにちは。TORAIZ English コンサルタントのゆりです。
Hello everyone, my name is Jake and I'm the native English consultant here at TORAIZ.
今回のテーマはこちら。学校で習ったのに実はネイティブがほとんど使わない英語。実は私たちが学校で習った英語の中には文法的には正しいのにネイティブの人は実際使わなかったりする表現がたくさん存在するんです。この動画を見ていただければネイティブの方と英語を話すときに恥ずかしい思いをしなくて済みますので、ぜひぜひ最後までご覧ください。早速一つ目のフレーズに行きましょう。
I'm fine, thank you, and you.
これは学校で習うも鉄板中の鉄板フレーズですけど、ネイティブではあまり使わないですか？
I'm fine, thank you, and how are you? Maybe nowadays that's a little long. I think maybe in old textbooks, oh, I'm very fine, thank you very much. How are you? We talk very long, but maybe nowadays we don't say that so much. If you want to be polite, maybe we can use it, but sometimes people think that's too polite. I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Is probably a more casual way to say that. More modern way of saying that.
じゃあ2つ目のフレーズ。
So-so.
へえ、これはあんまり調子が良くない時はそうそうねって英語の授業で習ったんですけど、これもあまり使わないですか？
Maybe a little, but not so much. So English and Japanese have a difference in the language, and English tends to be more direct, especially with your feelings. So with that being said, if you ask me, oh, how are you? And I said, so-so, you're immediately going to ask me another question. No, really, how are you? What happened? Like, is something wrong? Is the immediate response. So if you want to just cut to the chase and speak directly, if you are feeling 50-50, so-so, it's okay to use, but you will get a lot of questions afterwards. Or you have to explain why you are so-so. More modern way, more native way of saying it currently would be, oh, how are you doing? I'm alive. I'm alive, you know. I'm tired, but I'm doing my best. That's probably a better way of saying so-so. Maybe it's too weak of an answer, too weak of a response. And natives might bother you. It's like, what do you mean so-so? What happened? You might get that question.
じゃあそうそう聞くとたくさん質問を受けちゃうから最近だとこう I'm alive の方が使うんですね。
So you might get a lot of laughs from native speakers, like, oh, you're alive. Me too, I'm alive. We're doing our best together. So, yeah.
Alive はちょっと違った意味で学んだことがあったかと思うので、ぜひ皆さん使ってみてください。じゃあ3つ目はお願いします。
What's your hobby?
へえ、これ趣味は何ですかっていう直訳になるかなと思うんですけど、これも英語では間違ってるんですね。
Maybe what's your hobby is, it's not a very fun way to ask someone something interesting. So maybe you could ask a better way. Maybe you could ask, oh, what do you do for fun? That's probably the most common, I guess, replacement for that phrase that I hear. Oh, what's your hobby? Sounds like you're in school. You know, my hobby is to draw. Sounds a little childish. You're explaining to a teacher. So if you want to explain it to somebody who's maybe close to you or your peer, your coworker, someone close, you could say, what do you do for fun? What do you do in your spare time? What do you like to do? What are your interests? Those are 4 different ways to say that one. So what's your hobby is a little boring. Let's update those textbooks.
ぜひ使ってみてください。ファンがあるとこうなんか趣味っていうのもちょっと強調されそうですね。はい。じゃあ4つ目お願いします。
What's your job?
これもさっきの What's your hobby とちょっと似てるなって思うんですけど、これもあんまり自然ではないんですね。
That's correct. What's your job? It sounds direct, but it really isn't, because when you're working, you have several jobs. It's not like when you're at a job, you're doing only one thing. So what's your job today? what's your job tomorrow? You know, it implies that you only do one thing. But for example, if you work as an English consultant, you don't just do one thing. You have to, you know, respond to people, you have to set up meetings, you have to do several tasks. So what's your job sounds also a little immature, maybe a little not professional, maybe childish as well. A better way to phrase that would be, what is your profession? Or what is your job title? What is the name of your position? Saying what's your job? It's like, oh, right now I have to vacuum. Wait, is that actually your job? No, that's just what I'm doing today. What's job in this sense might mean task. So be careful with that one.
結構それだけにニュアンスが変わるんですね。ありがとうございます。次お願いします。
So my job is
あんまり使わない。
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, what do you do for work? And you say, oh, for my work or for my job, I usually do this. But if you want to just say the name of your position, like, oh, I'm a consultant, then people might ask, oh, so what do you do as a consultant? And ask you more. So maybe my profession is, or my title is consultant, and I do this. It's a better way to explain that than saying just my job is a teacher, or my job is engineer. Maybe it's, again, a little more elementary.
そうなんですね。結構じゃあもう私は日本語に訳すと私はになるけれども、そっちの方が英語では自然なんですね。じゃあラストのフレーズお願いします。
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one, but pardon?
Pardon はダメですか?
Yeah. So this one, I'm speaking from an American perspective, so if there's non-American native English speakers that take issue with this, that's fine. But in an American English setting, we never really use the phrase pardon.
テキストに書いてあります、pardon は。
I think somewhere along the lines with textbooks, people were kind of homogenizing, which means to make things very similar between British English or Australian English or Canadian English and American English, and they just threw a bunch of native phrases in there without checking. So pardon, we definitely say excuse me in America.
Excuse me.
And if you say just pardon, yeah, that's definitely not an American thing. What we could say, if you really, really want to use pardon, you can say, I beg your pardon. But if you say that, you sound like William Shakespeare. You sound like you're in a play. And that also might be a little more British English or European English. And maybe that's a better way to phrase that. So yeah, if you're at least in America, just say excuse me. How you say it is also important. So in Japanese, people say sumimasen. And there's not really an awfully rude way to say that, I don't think. But in English, if you say, excuse me, oh, did I do something? That's very scary. So depending on how you phrase your excuse me's, you might get a very different reaction. So check your volume, check your tone, check who you're talking with when you say excuse me. So, oh, excuse me, sorry. If you said excuse me, sorry like that, that's okay.
じゃあ単語だけじゃなくてよくこう抑揚イントネーションも英語大切っていうふうに聞くことが多いけれども、やっぱそういうところでも変わってきたりするんですね。ありがとうございます。結構やっぱそのこう単語を入れ替えたりとか使うものだけで伝え方が変わってきますので、皆様もぜひこの動画を参考にしながら学んでいただいたフレーズを使っていただければと思います。ではここで問題です。今から言う日本語文の英文をコメント欄までください。趣味は何ですか？この動画で分からなかったところはコメント欄で質問してください。今日の動画が面白かった、ためになったと思う方は高評価、チャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。では次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。
See you next time!